Hey, another episode of AI Ranch where we discuss the latest trends. We are the guys who actually build AI, not only talk about AI. Myself, Evalds, Ariels, and Pauls. And today we're looking at The Illusion of Thinking by Apple. So this is a new paper, just came out in June. It is about the situation where AI fails as soon as you give too much tasks, basically too many tasks, sorry. So like you have a Hanoi tower with these pieces, right? On three sticks, and you need to move all of the pieces to another stick. And if you just place 10 pieces, then it works. But if you place more than 10, then of some models hundreds, then it fails completely and don't solve task at all. Zero accuracy. So what do you, any thoughts of that?
How is the solving determined? Is it just generating text or is it writing, for example, code? Because Hanoi towers have a recursive, very simple pattern that it probably knows. So I assume it's just generating enough tokens to make it lose.
Sure, exactly. That's what you're saying. Well, so, and you will need to translate to the
I
average
was just
people.
about to say, and please explain for the mortals as well,
So
because
please,
not everyone knows
try
what's
to
Hanoi
give-
Basically,
towers.
Hanoi towers are the three towers with disks that decrease the size. It's, I don't remember from where, a kid's game, and your goal is to move the tower upright to another pole. You can never put bigger disk on a smaller one. And from the confusing words that I said, basically it has a very simple repetitive pattern, and by repeating that, you can solve it.
formula. There's like actually, this is actually funny. You know these Rubik cubes, right? These guys who do, have you tried that and the algorithms? So anyways, there is an
Not
algorithm. So
recently.
basically, there's always some guy who does the Rubik's cube like that, and it's done. But actually, he is not actually that smart. What he does is he's actually looking at the pattern, and he remembers like literally some kind of 30 patterns. And if I see this, I do that. And this is basically what Paul is saying, that there is actually repeating patterns in that game. But the problem is that they are kind of feeding this to the LLMs, like Cloud model, Anthropic model, just like a text. So it's describing this is lying on that is lying on that, and how you solve this. And what they discover is that if you just use text, it is starting to fail as soon as you add more and more details. It actually has some real life implications to that regarding, let's say, studying papers or books or texts. But is it immortal enough?
No, I mean, so I will zoom out us more, because I checked that paper a little bit as well, and I hope you can comment on that. Is that I think that narrative of that paper is generally that LLMs are not the only way how we should do things. There should be higher order of like some other ways how we do things, and the idea is around agentic, this kind of how we could give tasks to these AIs to do some sort of tasks, and when they break quickly.
Question.
Yes,
Did you read the paper or did LLM summarize it for you?
I did. I didn't read it,
Exactly.
but you
Okay.
didn't read it
That-
either.
Oh, I haven't read it. I won't
You just wanted to
pretend
make
that
me
I.
awkward,
I
right?
studied
I
it.
won't pretend that I
That's-
have read it. I can react to what Evalds is saying either way. It's just.
I did look over it briefly, but I didn't read it fully. But I think for me, seeing that paper and the general idea, and I know that what you said, vibe searching, that's what I do.
Vibe searching.
Vibe searching things. But I think for me, it's always like, what's the, I don't have time to read this. What's the gist of it? And I think there is this implication. What I've seen again is that sometimes people would prompt something and it doesn't work. They say it doesn't work. Or somebody else figures out how to prompt it differently. And then there's some other people trying to figure out with tools But the overlying idea is how could we use AI to automate tasks like agentic things. And I think that paper kind of looks at the issue that people sometimes write a lot of prompts and they break really fast.
As you know, maybe somebody didn't know that, when you use paid AI platforms, they have usually different types of models, right? Like if you open AI, you have GPT 03, 4.0. Is it mortal enough? So anyways, you have different models, right?
I can just leave.
No, wait, sit down. So these models are very important to understand how they operate, and I totally agree that OpenAI is making it very hard for average people to understand. But the idea is that in this paper, they are testing only these models, the thinking models and models who are good at text, right? But we don't need like future agentic AI. We already have the tool to solve this perfectly. So basically, if you just take GPT 4.5, which has a Python tool there, it will generate what Paul says, the code, and it will work every time perfectly. And these guys, or Apple, are specifically trying to make a point because probably Apple failed a little bit with their AI deliveries, right? So they want to say that AI is so bad, right? Even though they cannot deliver AI, right? That is, I think, the story.
Yeah, and this ties into what we talked in the office about agentic and workflows and all these things that, now 2025 agents, agentic, everyone's talking, I want to build agents, right? And then they try these tools and they find out that, they don't know how to prompt them, or they cannot do that complicated things, or they miss some facts or whatever. And what we have seen is that there is actually a differentiation between workflows and agentic idea. An agentic idea is that you give a task, it's almost like a silver bullet. It does this thing without giving instructions. A workflow is you still have some sort of basic instructions, and it uses the LLM to do those instructions. And I think that paper kind of shows a little bit as well, because the Python code generated the steps, but not the words generated the steps.
Not exactly. The tool usage and the ability to generate code for these models have been there, I think, since like GPT 3.5, so for past 2 years. But
So
it doesn't impact the fact that it's still part of workflow or agent or whatever you want to call it. That's just the way how it interacts with the
LLMs are
world.
great, actually, and excellent. They're a crucial part for all of these tools because they are like a translation layer between human language into the computer symbolic language, so on. So basically, but they are not just the answer to everything, because like I think many people who even don't realize these extra steps, they think just the ChatGPT, super intelligence, everything, but it's not actually just one thing. But if you combine with other things, it's excellent, actually. So
On that note, I just realized that there could be example, like we talk with language, right? But if I would go on the street and ask some, like, I don't know, a construction guy, can you just help me with a business and do this task? I can communicate it. He can even understand and communicate back, but I can be sure that he won't do it as I thought it, and we both will lose our resources. Because there is something more than just language and general intelligence. There's some sort of like memory or knowledge basis and other things
There is this
around.
old joke about project managers that the only real task of project manager is to translate what client is saying into what programmers understand. Because in this case, ChatGPT would be
only
large...
the ChatGPT
Yeah.
is
But
not.
I can pick on that because ourselves, like in our like team as well, we work with a lot of projects, and a project manager can talk, but if project manager doesn't have technical abilities and understanding, people eventually will find out when that project will start to fail. And so there is
No,
this
not only the other aspect you completely will leave out here, and I think you should definitely see this. And you also like the project manager is also like kind of like a babysitter. So it is not about just only translating and evaluating, fixing things. I mean, like
But
measuring.
for that, there are other AI tools. which organize your calendar,
No, human
add your
babysitting is
tasks.
different. You know that. You cannot babysit toddlers in kindergarten with an AI because they need that presence. And I think even as grown-ups in IT or whatever, even in like not IT, let's say in construction management,
Somebody
building
needs
roads,
to.
a guy comes and says, "Why this road hasn't been laid?" Everyone's like gets their shovels and start to put the road.
Add a tool to LLM that allows to call you, so you cannot just mute it, and you can give it the instruction to annoy you all the
not
time.
saying that. So this actually goes to one other tool which I discovered recently. It is like Pine AI, where you can put in your, for example, the subscription, and it calls for you and consoles the subscription for you. Like it claims that it does the calling, not only the messages and so on. You seem like with regarding the project management as well. Like maybe in the future there could be some kind of like very assertive AI.
Oh, by the way, on that note,
Yeah.
I just heard about this. I think it was a paper, maybe not, but there was this note that there was this Cloud Sonnet 3.7, that case study that we talked about. Basically, the Anthropic team created this test. They created this vending machine business in the office where people.
I think it was Sonnet 4. It is the newest one.
It's one of those, yeah. And basically, they were asking like, make a business out of this. Use all of your tools. And what they found out is that one of the findings was that the language model is very nice. Because it's prompted to be nice.
It's not prompted, it's trained to be nice.
Yes,
exactly.
trained
it's
to be nice.
deeper than prompting.
And one of the comments was that maybe in business we don't need niceness. We need to be candid or strict or
Maybe we need
critical.
to train assertive, nasty AI.
Yeah, and the idea was that because it for business tasks like managing business, it sounds like it acts too nicely. It's not negotiating. It's not doing all these things that are very like criticism and stuff like that. And I think that was an idea that could be also a pivot in some of these agentic tools where they somehow use some sort of critical analytics or critical thinking more, not just thinking, critical thinking, like being more critical about the prompts that you ask and stuff like that.
The other important part on the illusion of thinking is also NVIDIA. NVIDIA has just released also a paper. Small language models are the future of agentic AI. They call SLM, not LLM. And this is also, I read in X from Andrej Karpathy, who is really the thought leader of most of the AI things. And he also said that in the future, the very efficient, very good small language models, which do not have knowledge of everything, but just are able to translate what I'm asking with some common understanding, right? Are the key. Basically, you could plug this model with the tools like the Python programmer or maybe with RAG databases, right? And it could solve almost everything for almost 100 times cheaper than these huge models.
Yes, please make the models smaller because right now you cannot even imagine buying enough GPUs to actually run them or do anything.
For most viewers
ones.
that are not super tech heavy, I think it's important to explain a little bit about the model sizes. I actually have an example, and Paul's know this in the office. Paul showed me a tool, LM Studio. You can have local models on your computer, so you don't need to give your information to evil Google and stuff like that. So I put LM Studio. He didn't tell me that you have to have a pretty beefy computer.
You just have to lower your expectations in that
case.
case.
I put a 27B Gemma model.
Which is actually a very good model, Gemma 3.
Yes, but he put it on 8 gig MacBook Air.
So it killed.
and it didn't just kill, it just blent violet screen and black right off the back. And I just simple prompt, and then I lowered my expectations. I put Gem 4 or something like that. And obviously the model was much worse. But maybe you can explain a little bit more how I know that the big models are trillion models.
They are all actually. So we don't know exactly how big are the commercial models. The best ones, the estimates are really based on on some of the open sourced like grok models, like in hundreds of billions of
No,
parameters.
trillions, I think.
I think the newest one was estimated in trillions now.
Okay, the other thing is that even the commercial large models don't want to go too high. They want to try to still get it lower so that they can inference them more, like it's cheaper.
I would actually guess that all the newer models are actually smaller.
Yeah, I also believe.
If we look at the,
Definitely.
for example, artificial analysis, which is a cool website that shows the, model speeds and so on, there's no way that they have achieved these speed ups in token generation without decreasing the sizes.
Yeah. We actually did also independent study on one of the applications of our clients where we tried on premises, and so Gemini Flash, I think, with versus Gemini Gamma 327 billion. The difference was only 5% in classification accuracy in zero shot.
That's actually a lot smaller difference than I would expect from the general benchmarks. But that's probably what better prompting and simpler task gives you.
Yes, exactly. The general benchmarks are not very reliable.
Just to clarify again, the trillion models, you cannot run them on your computer.
You would need to have 100 your computers.
Or thousands, like in the video cards. That's why they say CO2 footprints. So you have to have really strong machines. And then you go lower to your like local computers, but they're not as powerful. What is SLLM?
Yeah. So these small models, they claim that they start from 10 billion or less. And they showed that Salesforce model of 8 billion with tools, together with tools, a lot of tools, beat the GPT-4o and Claude 3.5. So the data and the publications, if somebody didn't know, the scientific publications takes long time, so probably they did these experiments already many months ago, but still, like very small model, 8 billion model, which you definitely able to run on the MacBook Air, together with some tools, actually gives the performance of GPT-4o.
Again, mentioning Paul again, in the office, we always talk in the office. We are great buddies in that sense. I mentioned him the science fiction, the game, and there's this idea that in the future there is, instead of CPUs, there's wetware, which is basically a biological computer. And I think that's one of the
Sounds really creepy.
That's science fiction.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever. No, it's really cool actually. You grow it in your home. It doesn't make it creepy, but basically it's like
at least you can kill it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. But the proposition of that idea, and I think it's been in books for years, is that it's more like our brains, which are extremely efficient because we don't need like 4 watts or something like that to process a lot of information. And I think that shows that the scale or bigger computers is not the problem. Something else, like the code or the way how you
the mathematics are actually also one of the problems. Everybody knows that.
The models are also the problem because every year or so we see new generation of even transformer models that are smaller and more powerful. That means that Google is optimizing something on their side to train Gamma. Everyone is optimizing something.
If somebody discovers new architecture, new ways, so often it could be also that they don't publish. Like it was actually this huge case, and if you open, we will try to find. Attention is all you need. I think it was the original Google paper, which now they have a huge signature on top of it that you cannot use it for commercial use cases. Even the whole world is already using it. This was by Google DeepMind, and they were very upset that OpenAI made a product out of it, actually.
That was the origin of transformers, right?
Yes, this is the architecture, the model that is basis of all ChatGPT and everything. So see, top the red line. So it was
that
not...
we know of. As you mentioned, there might be new architectures. Exactly. There might be new everything, especially for Google, which are running their own hardware and full stack for them. So that could be the explanation why the Gemini took off so good. and how the newer one 2.5
Yeah, I
Flash
agree. Gemini
is faster.
is really good. Like
So-
if somebody is still living on OpenAI, like just in the last few months, the Gemini 2.45 Pro and also Flash, they're really good. Yeah.
2 months ago, you were shaming me
Yeah,
of
exactly.
using Gemini
Exactly.
when you used
I was definitely not a fan of, I'm still not a definitely fan of Google, but basically they actually did something good and I'm recognizing it.
Grok is the best.
I believe that the ecosystem and everything for Google is great, especially when you add these Gemini models. Like I've been using it all the time with my Gmail calendar, everything. It's actually for like the system where the RAG actually works. Like if you try to use Microsoft Copilot, you cannot find anything, but with this one actually works. So, but still, the OpenAI, I don't think it's dead because maybe you agree that the generation of Python code there and execution, like the Excel sheets and all of these is really great.
I haven't actually generated Excel sheets from it.
I'm doing it all the time.
I know,
I'm doing seminars. I did seminar literally today to show how to replace fully Excel with the ChatGPT 4.5, and you can do amazing things.
I'm using Gemini for code generation and for my all everyday searches, queries, and so on. Except last week. Last week I took a break from it. Just like in last episode, we talked about media and social media. I took a dopamine break from large language models and actually used Google and tried to search for all the information.
Well, let me show you something. The GPT 4.5, something that Gemini still cannot do. So I just drop in 2 Excels and then I'm asking to compare stuff. And then I'm generating the graphs of it, and this is all generated very quickly or super easily with this tool. And this is still not available in Google. Maybe it will be available sometime, but not yet. So it's
Maybe we need to add the tool to LLM Studio so we can run
Grok
locally.
is the best.
No,
Because you can prompt it to speak to you in the way how you want
all
it to
of these
speak.
you can add system
Really?
prompt. Yes.
Yes.
I made Grok speak to me really nicely. Like it's always like, "Hi, welcome back. You're really a great person," and stuff like that. It's really good.
Okay, so this is OpenAI, this is Google. These are the tools. These are the small language models, and they say this is the future of agentic AI. So we are also building the AI platform enabled by AIs. It helps to answer emails. It helps to train people. It helps to validate documents. It does specific use cases. So do you think this is the agentic AI or some other opinion?
So we have had massive discussions about this, really sweating and stuff. And I think there is an agentic winter right now because people are tired of that word. People have been burned by that word. Like for instance, we had a client here come in. He used N8N. So this.
Yeah, I have something to say about that.
And he said, "Oh, I tried to create my own agent, spent 2 days, and just gave up on that." And then I told him about our platform, Eldigen, and I said that our idea is that we don't build like these massive, trees, what you should do and all these things. I said, we just, do this simple thing and it shows where's the problem and then you fix these problems along the way. And he liked that idea. And then I think last thing that we spoke about was that when we speak about our platform, Elgin, maybe it's not this agentic, it's more like workflows. It's more narrow. Agentic
I
is
want
big.
to add something on N8N. N8N is actually great, fantastic agent platform, but it is, even with all of these small boxes you add, it's extremely complicated still. And really interesting stuff is basically if you work with websites, for example, in here, right? Like some kind of classifieds portal or something, you need to scrape that website, right? And there is a tools there for scraping. And the actually fun thing is you see how many times they've been used. I see that some of these tools are used 41 times.
You need them only if you're building agent that is something like uses some kind of retrieval methods and wants to answer.
I know, but my point
if you're building a tool that gets your email, sees what type of email it is, puts it in appropriate box or deletes the spam. You don't need the scraping, and my guess is that
AI
many
scraper,
people.
1,000 downloads for whole world. So I mean, what my point is maybe you're right that in many cases you don't need actually these scrapers, but this is like a small window to the reality that these tools are great, but they are very complicated and very little people are actually using the full advantage of these tools, and that's
What
why
is the most used tool there?
they hide all of the built-in tool numbers. They just show the custom where if I make my own tool and publish it, then
So
I
they
see
don't have built-in something like get website
they
content
don't
or some
have.
other
No, they
name.
have very basic things. They have basically HTTP simple request which gets banned by AI agents, right? Like, and then if you want to use something better, they actually have also these. We also have call systems, right? They also have Firefly's integration. I think it is used 76 times.
Okay, so you're showing all this basically crazy information that so little people use it. Why?
Yeah. So
Why?
that's my point. That is exactly my point, and that's what you said. Is that these people try out it? It understands extremely complicated, and then they come back to ready-made solution for your problem with somebody who is responsible for the problem. And we, with our solutions, right? We actually have like tight borders or where we can fit in and fix something.
But that's so crazy that people think that this is so complicated. You can spend weeks training your new hire on a one job, but you give up on 2 days when it's a digital tool.
But it's because of expectations. I think most people, when they hear agentic or agents, they think, oh, silver bullet, ask it, does it. And they
Yeah,
think
I
about
got lots of
AGI.
Closest thing to agent that exists right now is in coding, because there are
Yeah.
actually agents that just copy your code base
Yeah.
to some proprietary Microsoft server, and only way how you interact with it is through Slack messages. That's the only thing that I would call agentic. No other tool, not
So I
what
mean,
we are
the
building, not...
Lovable and other these platforms which build web
Is it
platforms.
agent or is it code generator? It doesn't do
yeah.
proactive things
But
and moving.
your point about training is very good, actually, because you think about our process when we have salespeople as well, right? And though we don't have like months training like big corporations, I know a couple of friends who work in corporations, they have 6 months training staff. You get paid to be trained to be a salesman for 6 months. So we have much less. So what we do is we depend more on the kind of organic intelligence of that person, that if we give them 5 materials, we can trust that that person can understand the idea and do this work. But with agents like these platforms, we maybe think, oh, we spent 5 hours, it doesn't work, so it's not working, right? And so, but on your point, by the way, is that I think it already shows that you have so many of these apps, specific use case apps, that they're not called agents, but they use all these principles in them. They just say, we are the best lead generation tool from HubSpot or whatever. But actually, they have the same kind of idea as like an agent platform. They just don't say it's an agent
It's also
platform.
one other thing I think when I tried myself and I had to create a new accounts for it, like Google accounts and other things, because I didn't want to expose all of my personal data to platforms and these small tools which I don't really trust. So, and our platform basically it's on premises. It is based on with the actual agreements and things of that sort. So I think there is a factor also with these agent platforms that is you talking about making money in the corporate settings and so on. This is not really the direction where to go, because you need to trust fully to all pieces there.
At the same time, didn't N8N provide some kind of on-premises solution?
I don't think so, but we can maybe. I heard,
Okay.
yeah. But again, if remember that there is to make it work properly, you need all of these small pieces, and many of these pieces are developed by third parties, and so then. Yeah. To wrap up this episode, are we calling our platform agent platform or
Yes. No.
no? I
Yes.
don't.
No. No. We now, I think we call it AI workflow platform. like a AI operations hub where you can work with your workflows. It's narrow focused. It solves specific things. We as a team, we support the client. We focus on larger
Success of the
companies.
client.
If you are a single person trying to launch a solo business, use N8N, use these
Yes.
platforms. We work with teams of 10, 20 people, more, maybe 100 people. And yeah, I think that's what I think.
It's also should be much more reliable than just setting up something.
I would say the main difference is you need to know your expectations. If you have a specific workflow problem where you spend a lot of time, yes, we can help you solve. Probably N8N it can also solve it, but you will have to spend time to set it up and manage and update.
You will be responsible for it.
Yes, exactly. But if you're expecting some general purpose agent, then that doesn't exist, maybe in coding only
Sure.
right now.
Agree. I hope this will enlighten you to understand better about agentic AI LLMs, and see you in the next episode. Don't forget, subscribe, like. See you. Bye-bye.